Okay guys, welcome back. Now I still feel a little bit sick, so my apologies if I make any mistakes throughout this video. Food poisoning is not a joke, but I am getting better, so don't worry about that. Now today I'll be running the level 3 Deadspace. I think it's called Blood Raider Information Point or something along those lines. And for that I'll be using the Orthrus. Now the Orthrus is getting a little bit rusty. I have been using this ship for, I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks now, and I really have been enjoying this little boat. Now today I'll be showing you some of the changes that I made on this ship. Mainly I changed the ammo and I am in the process of changing the modules. Now I had quite the luck recently with the combat sites, and I have been farming the C-type and A-type modules and B-types. There are some B-types in the list somewhere, and I need to sell all of that. About 700 million in the hangar just from the modules, and I have some other C-type and A-type modules stationed in a different location, so I'll have to go and pick that up as well. So the DPS has been improved. My goal is to have about 450 DPS as an alpha clone, and I'm getting there. The next thing that I'll change are the missile launchers, and then after the missile launchers I think I will swap the ballistic controls into the faction ones, and eventually I want to have a fully faction built Orthrus. My goal is to have the best possible modules that I can find, and again the DPS improvement is very welcoming. 270 DPS or 290 is okay, but I want to have more DPS. Now the increase comes mainly from the missiles. I am using the faction missiles. They are a little bit more expensive, but they do give a little bit more performance. Now, not all of the missiles are from the same faction. I have Gurista missiles and Caldari Navy missiles, mostly because I wasn't able to find all of the missiles from the same type, but I think the Caldari Navy seem to perform a little bit better. They seem to have a little bit higher DPS. Although the Dread light missiles are going to be my goal. Now the ammunition is a little bit more expensive, so I spent about 10 million just in ammo for the current missile that I have. Should be enough for a lot of runs in high sec, but overall I'm quite happy with this ship so far. Okay, now let me open up the browser and let's take a quick look at the Blood Raider site so that I can show you what to expect when you go and enter the Deadspace. Blood Raider Intelligence Collection Point is that 3 out of 10 combat site that is found in high security systems in AMA regions that have Blood Raider presence. Walk through first pocket, 14 frigate Corpi Collector Seekers, and 1 frigate Corpi Raider or Diviner. They use tracking disruptors, so don't use ships with turrets for these Deadspace sites. Second pocket, 13 frigates, Corpi Collector Seeker, 5 frigates, Corpi Herald Raider, and 1 Sentry Blood Point Defense Battery. They also use tracking disruptors. Third pocket, 12 frigate Corpi Collector Seeker, 16 frigate Corpi Herald and Upholder, 1 Sentry Blood Point Defense Battery. They also use tracking disruptors. Fourth pocket, 16 frigate Corpi Diviner Upholder, 4 Sentry Blood Raider Sentry Gun. They don't have tracking disruptors in the fourth room. And the fifth and final pocket, 3 Sentry Blood Raider Sentry Guns, 19 frigate Corpi Collector Seeker, 15 frigate Corpi Diviner Raider, 1 Cruiser Corpum Arc Priest, and 1 Overseer frigate Dark Blood Alpha. The Dark Blood Alpha is the Pinata. That's the ship that can drop very nice loot, and also use tracking disruptors. Bounty 2 million ISK, which is fine. And the loot is actually really good in Blood Raider space, especially if you can find a pocket for yourself where there is not many players to disturb the peace. Then you can farm the sites very easily. And again, if you're a little bit lucky, you will get some very juicy stuff. At the end, I will show you one of my recent runs that I did, and I think I got like 330 million out of the loot at the end, which is honestly really good. Now the ship that I recommend for the Blood Raider sites are missile ships or drone boats. Turrets, I wouldn't really use turrets, mostly because they use tracking disruptors, and tracking disruptors, well, you know what they do to turrets. They basically ruin your tracking, they ruin the range, and yeah, might be a little bit uncomfortable. But if you are using missiles, then the tracking disruptors will have no effect on your ship. And all of them use the tracking disruptors. So in this Deadspace sites, and same thing can be said about most Blood Raider Deadspace sites, you don't have to use a sensor booster because there is going to be no dampeners to ruin your range. But I would recommend that you use a drone boat or a missile boat so that the tracking disruptors have no effect on your ship. Now the Orthrus is again a perfect boat for this job. It uses missiles and it has decent DPS, decent alpha, it's quite fast, so the Orthrus is going to be a very solid choice for this purpose. And there is a random carrier wreck just chilling here. I like the scenery. The scenery is usually very interesting. As you can see, the first room was quite easy. You can run this Deadspace site with a very cheap destroyer. You can run this Deadspace site with a cheap cruiser. Doesn't have to be expensive. Just follow the way how I clear this, and you can basically replicate that on any ship that uses missiles or on any ship that uses drones. Again, it's honestly not a big problem. Any ship can easily run this site. But I use the Orthrus because I really like this ship and I enjoy flying it. Although very soon I will start flying some of the older ships, some of the cheaper options like the Caracal Navy. But first I have to sell some of the loot because I don't feel like I have so much loot that I have to sell. Although I never have time to actually go and do a Yida trip to sell the stuff. In any case, this is the second room. And as you can see, the second room is also not that serious. Although be careful around the sentry turrets. The sentry turrets can be nasty. And the resistance holes on the ships is on EM. Meanwhile, the sentry turrets have a very good armor resistance on EM, but I think they have a hole on kinetic or thermal. So if you want to have a overall decent damage application, or should I say, if you want to find the sweet spot, use thermal. But for most of the ships you should use EM because they have a hole on EM. Blood Raiders have a hole on EM, but if you don't have EM ammo, thermal is also a very good choice. Blood Raider guard posts. That's a very nice looking. The Blood Raiders really have some very nice looking ships. Their design is really good. That's why I like them. But I have to make the skills work in order to fly the Ashimu. Right now I have skills for turrets and skills for missiles. Okay, this is the next room. Now you don't have to worry about scramblers or webs, they don't have them in this site. So you can easily warp away if you have to warp away, don't have to worry about losing your ship. Now the thing that I really like about these sites is the fact that you can get so much ISK from them, and as an alpha clone, ISK is going to be a very important resource. So you want to be able to get ISK while also having fun and advancing in the game. And I think running the combat sites is a very good choice for alpha clones, for alpha players. I mean, I'm an alpha player and I fight the Orthrus quite efficiently right now. So this ship is a good choice for that job. The other ship that is good for this job is the Gila, because I think the Gila can have better DPS as an alpha clone because of the crazy drone bonus that the ship has. Now the requirement to open the gate is to destroy all ships, so that means you don't have to kill the turrets in order to jump through the gate, and I will show you that, I think, right now. Basically kill all the ships and just burn to the acceleration gate, and then you go to the next room. Although the turret will shoot at you, so keep that in mind. Although this turret wasn't interested in shooting at me for some reason. Okay, this is the next room. The closest targets will be the sentry turrets. I usually go with the closest targets, so the sentry turrets will be the primary. After the sentry turrets get destroyed, I will work on eliminating the other ships that are close by. Now I have the two groups. The first group is with 3 missile launchers, the second one is with 2 missile launchers. That is mostly because I can focus down 2 targets at the same time. It saves time and it does make me clear the mission faster. At least that's what I got from measuring the time. I did one run with the missiles all grouped and the other run with all the with this setup that I currently have, and it seems like the current setup is clearing faster. Although the second missile group does have lower DPS because it is only 2 missiles while the first one is 3. I wish that the Orthrus had like 6 missile slots, but unfortunately it has 5 missile slots and 1 utility slot where I have the scanner, not the scanner, but the probe launcher, because I have to be able to find the site that I run. Now ideally I don't want to have the probe launcher on my ship, but since having an alt is not really an option right now, I have the probe launcher. And one thing that I have to improve is the probe launcher. I don't have the Sister of Eve probe launcher. Haven't bought it, but I plan on getting one. I have Sister of Eve probes, and so far that seemed to work fine. Although since this is my main PvE ship, I want to max it out. Meanwhile, the Ashimu is going to be my PvP ship, although for that I have to get the necessary skills in order to be able to fly the Ashimu in a proper way. Don't fly ships that you don't have good skills for, and I'm trying to follow that rule. Well, this is so far going according to plan. 3 ships left. Well, 2 ships left. 1 ship left. Actually, no. 2 sentry turrets left. Okay. Let me quickly kill them and then I have to go and reload. Again, the most annoying part of using rapid missiles is the long reload. But I got used to it. Not a big problem. Okay, let's go through the acceleration gate. And this is going to be the last room, the 5th room. And this is where the Overseer frigate is going to be. Now again, the Overseer frigate is the main target. It is the most expensive ship that is in the fleet there, and it can drop some very nice stuff. So let's go and let's see what happens. Now I personally recommend that you kill the Overseer frigate the second you land, mostly because there's always the chance that someone jumps in right behind you and that they steal your loot. So in order to make the wreck be yours, kill the frigate first so that you can loot later. Or if someone decides to steal your loot, well, if they steal, you can kill them. Okay, the main target is destroyed, and now let me go and let's focus on the other ships. I go and shoot the closest ship. In this case it is the cruiser. Now that cruiser can be nasty, so make sure that you are not taking a lot of damage. Again, this is completely doable with a destroyer. My friend and I were running this in destroyers before we jumped into faction cruisers. My friend is flying the Gila, I'm flying the Orthrus, but he will start flying the Orthrus because it looks like he likes the ship. And the Orthrus is a fantastic little boat. This will be very fast. After all, it takes 1.5 missile to kill them, and I do them one by one. I can lock only 5 targets because of my skills, but if you are using an Omega or if you have better skills, then you probably can lock on more, but 5 targets seem to be okay with my current light missile layout. After all, those light missiles are going through the ammo very quickly. Now make sure that you have the wreck in the overview just in case. And I'm slowly approaching, trying to make all of these ships go the other way, but they're actually not that far away from me. They are all around me, so let me just align myself towards that point in space. I'm not taking any damage, which is to be expected. After all, they're using small weapons and they have short range. Even 17 kilometers is too long for their turrets, so they are not doing anything to my shield. But I can still hit them just fine. My range is 64 kilometers with the light missiles, which is a pretty good range. Can be longer if I had Omega skills, of course, but for an alpha clone this is more than enough, to be honest. And I also have the modules that enhance the range. Works really well if I have the heavy assault missiles. And just a little group of, just a small group of enemy ships left. I am slowly approaching the wreck while destroying those targets. Now when you kill the main target, when you kill the overseer frigate, you can technically burn to the wreck, loot the wreck and warp out, because once you kill the main target, once you kill the Dark Blood Alpha, then you basically clear the site. The site will despawn, it will stop being on the pro window, and well, this is definitely not a good loot drop. 4.7 million, but in any case, I'll show you a picture that I made last night when I was running the site again, and well, it dropped 330 million ISK, and that was a pretty juicy loot drop. So you can get a loot drop that's well that you've seen here in the video, and you can also get a loot drop that's shown on the picture. So it can go both ways, but in any case, I really enjoy running these sites. They're pretty good, quite profitable honestly, and if you find a pocket that's quiet and clear and there is no one to disturb the peace, you can technically farm the sites, and with enough time you will definitely get a lot of ISK. I mean, we basically started from nothing. Like, I started from a Talvar that I had like 5 years ago on this account, and in less than 5 days I was in the Orthrus, just from running the combat sites, the exploration combat sites. So overall, it can be and it is really fun, and it is really profitable. So this was the Blood Raider data collection points, and overall it was really fun to do it. Hope that I could help you at I guess clearing the Deadspace site. And well, with that being said, I will go and probably load all of the loot in a ship, and I'll probably go to Yita to sell all that stuff because I need ISK. So with that being said, hope that you guys enjoyed. If you want to support me, feel free to like and subscribe, and with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.